think any of us were actually watching live your last few
Yeah.
holes because, well, for lack of better terms, we either just didn't want to see it
Yeah.
or we had given up on hope of
Sure.
something turning around. But I mean, obviously, you somehow didn't, being in the midst of, because I've been in those rounds where you had what, 4 holes in the middle where you went OB on your drives.
I don't even know if it was just 4. It felt like every tee shot was just going OB.
Yeah. So how on earth did you keep yourself in like a focused, calm mindset to where you were actually able to get the birdies necessary to finish in the top 3?
So I felt like I only had thrown one bad shot. As
Okay.
crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
The shot on hole 4, spoiler alert, I was not going for the birdie. So I did get some tweets and stuff from people being like, "Hey, like, do you feel like trying to go for the birdie on hole 4 was the bad mistake?" And I was like, "What does that mean, go for the?" And I was like trying to think what hole that was. And I was like, the one that I threw it like on the highway. I was like, I was trying to throw a straight shot there. I really felt like I was actually throwing the disc really well.
Yeah.
I was just really struggling at the time of disc selection and angle control, of like figuring out exactly what angle. We had just gone from playing like extremely windy conditions to not extremely windy conditions. And I was just struggling to like just find a fairway. It felt like I was either picking the wrong disc or picking the right disc and not throwing it on the right angle. And so I was making mistake after mistake, but I wasn't feeling like I was throwing bad. Hole 4, that was kind of a shank. I turned it over way more than I wanted to and just didn't really commit to the shot. And so that was like the one shot that I really felt in the front 9, like, oh, that wasn't very good. But other than that, I felt like I was actually throwing like decent shots. They were just going out of bounds.
So you were like executing the shot you wanted, but
the disc
wasn't doing what you expected.
Yeah, or I was like, crap, I should have put that on flat, and I put it on hyzer, and it just went out. So I was making the mistakes, but at the same time, it didn't feel like my game was just like nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And so I knew like, okay, just continue to power through. And the entire round, I was literally trying to figure out how to throw a straight shot. Like, how do I get this disc to just, because that's what you need. You need disc to just go straight, don't really fade too much, and just stay in the fairway. And 18, unfortunately, was the first one that I finally executed, which probably was the most difficult shot of the entire tournament, to throw that straight shot all the way up the fairway with trouble right, trouble left. But I finally kind of did it on that one, and it felt great, obviously. But it was funny because on hole 18, I looked at Ricky, and I was like, after watching him play, and I feel like he had a pretty flawless round. It's very difficult to have a bogey-free round out there. There's just so much trouble.
Yeah.
But I felt like he did a pretty flawless job that final round of just kind of playing the course. And the one thing I noticed is he was throwing so many forehands off the tee. And thinking about it and going through it, I'm like, gosh, the forehand on so many of those tee shots is such a good play, because it puts you in a position, if you throw a good one, to birdie. But if you throw a bad one, it still puts you in a position to have to make a more difficult second shot for a birdie, but you're in bounds.
Yeah.
And that's the key of this whole tournament, is I feel like I did a really good job at Jones throwing the disc in bounds, and then I went to Emporia and I just threw it out of bounds all over the place. Some might say that's because I didn't get practice rounds at Emporia. I only got one round at Supreme. But truthfully, are the lights just going nuts behind us?
It's just going crazy. Yeah, I was trying to slow it down. I was trying to slow it down discreetly. It was like a carnival behind us.
But no, truthfully, like, I just never really felt comfortable on any of the tee shots. And I think I could kind of hide that a little bit more on the third round because of how windy it was. And there really wasn't that much decision making when it comes to like what disc to throw, because when you're throwing into a 30-mile-per-hour headwind, it's like whatever the most overstable disc you have. But Sunday was such good scoring conditions, and I just never felt like, yeah, this is the shot. It's definitely going to find the fairway. And I was just struggling through that round. But obviously, I'm never going to give up. I'm never going to count myself out of it. And I battled to a good finish there.